everybody. I'm the proud Community School Program Manager of Glendale Elementary School, Melissa Gomez, and I'm joined here with my principal, Lauren Wickline, who's also right here. We're in the same room. And like she said, we are a first-year community school, and Ms. Wickline is actually going to talk about our first data point for attendance in academics.
Good morning, everyone. As Ms. Gomez said, we're a first-year community school, which means that this year we, just like Glen Burnie Park was stating, we got a lot of baseline data for some first-time events that we put on, but not that we couldn't see some impact this year, which we'll share with you, but we're excited to see next year where we'll go with these numbers. So our first bit of data that we're sharing is our attendance data, and the need for our attendance at the end of last school year in the spring of 22-23 is that we had 35% of our students that were considered chronically absent. We have decreased that number this year from 36.4% at the beginning of the year to 27.4%. That was that was our goal, was 36 to 27. But we've been steadily improving all year long, and we've implemented some monthly incentives like attendance celebrations for students to look forward to. We had a 3-tiered plan, attendance plan, that we worked with our PPW on. And as the creation of this graphic happened, which was, maybe a month ago, in the last month, the percentage of students who were chronically absent actually decreased another 2% to 25.9. So that's a total of almost an 11% decrease this year, which is very exciting. And that was through the end of April. I believe we will have even more of a decrease when we get the file for May, because we're already tracking pretty well. We also didn't have a strong culture surrounding after-school enrichment programs. And so we partnered with co-curricular office and outside partners like the Giving Square to provide more opportunities for our students. We had 120 students enrolled in after-school programs for our 8-week spring session. We had a fall session as well. And then we had some that were dealt with physical health, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But we believe that the decrease in chronic attendance and the addition of the co-curricular after-school activities had both of those added to an impact in our academic data. Specifically, one data point I wanted to talk about was our quarterly data in reading. We know that quarterlies align pretty closely with MCAP and can give us an idea of how our students will achieve. And we had in all 3 grades, 3, 4, and 5, we had a very big increase of proficiency from quarter 1 to quarter 2 to quarter 3 in every single grade, with 5th grade ending up at 49% proficient, which was actually our AMO for reading, which is exciting. Also in charge, along the lines of AMO, AMOs are always written the opposite, like there's 66 or 75% will come to school regularly. I switched the numbers just to make it easier to understand, but we've already surpassed our attendance AMO for next school year, for the 24-25 school year, for chronic attendance. And so we're working with Anna Harding to create another goal, because we're still not where we want to be, but we need to still keep working there. So that's where we're headed for next year. So I'm going to turn it over to Melissa.
Thank you. For the next section are 2+ generational support. So one of the needs around this area is that 46% of our students in our school are Hispanic and 28% are English learners. So we have a really big need in our school for bilingual support. And our families and our staff have expressed the need and desire to improve their language skills. And I think this is something that benefits the whole community. So this winter, we had 18 adults participate in the 37.5-hour English basic skills class through Anne Arundel Community College. This was such a big, I think, such an impactful thing in our school, because these, like Ms. Saunders mentioned in her school, this created a group of parents that were really committed to coming and not only just learning English, but getting to know each other and forming these relationships. the other day in the car loop line, one of the parents, just as she was like, I was putting her kid in her car, she was like, I signed up for the next class at Anne myself. Like she went and got into for the next program, and she was so excited that that she was doing that, and that made me really proud of her too, that she was able to go on and do that on her own. And then a lot of these parents have been coming to other events, like a group of them got together and they went to our family field trip. We went to Maryland Day a couple of weeks ago, and they had formed their little group that they were, going out there together. One of them doesn't have a car, and another parent often brings her and her son to school because they walk from pretty far. So I think a lot of positive things, not just learning English, have come about because of these English classes. And on top of that, we have 19 staff members who are currently taking Spanish for educators here at Glendale, and they're staying here out of out of the contract hours for themselves. They're not getting paid, which also shows the commitment of our staff to close these gaps. And next week we actually have a good number of parents that are going to come for our English-Spanish conversation hour with our teachers. So I'm really looking forward to see how that's going to happen next week. But the parents are like, yes, I want to come. I want to do that. So I think a lot of things have happened from just that one initiative. We also have a really big partnership, like Ms. Hunters also mentioned, in her school with the library. I love how we have a really great library system in our county, by the way, just a plug for them. They're great. We had earlier in the year, I met with them and we talked about the different needs of our school that I had learned from this previous survey that they sent out in the spring before we even became a community school. We talked about some of those needs. And then in January, they curated a program for our school to come out. So they had a scavenger hunt with things throughout the library that the families could access, like where is the social worker, or how do I do, where are the schedules for toddler time and things like that they had to find that fit the needs of our school. And we had 130 people come out to that event at the library. It was a full house over there. We had some of our teachers come out and we did story time, and we read in English and in Spanish. And some of our families, even though the library is literally in our backyard, had never been to the library. It was their first time ever being in the building. So it was great to be able to provide that resource for them. And now they have a familiar place in the community where they can go for help, as well as coming to our school. So where we're going with this, we're going to continue to partner with AACC and offer English classes, because we know that's something parents have already asked who didn't participate, who want to do it again next year. And we will continue to partner with the library to provide resources. We also next year want to focus more on our pre-K and kindergarten and our students from 0 to 5. So we also have the goal to partner with the library on these toddler time activities as well. The next graphic point is social emotional. So as we worked in our needs assessment, we know that social emotional was consistently highlighted in our data. And we were at the beginning of the year also having extreme behavior, specifically from pre-K and our kids who were new to the school. And our staff worked on routines and provided a lot of support for families because the kids were just having a really hard time transitioning, and there were a lot of outbursts that were happening. So in December, we offered a parenting workshop that focused on rules, routines, and rituals. This was also a partnership with Anne Arundel Community College. We had 14 parents come, but our focus was pre-K. So most of the parents, the majority of the parents were pre-K parents. We personally invited them and told them to come, and that they would, that they would be able to learn strategies and skills to help their kids deal with some of these hard transition things. So we plan on continuing to have these workshops. We have another one scheduled for later this month, where we're also doing the same and partnering with focusing on our younger kids. And next year, we are also going to be getting a part-time social worker, which also I think would help just the general needs of our school. We have seen some of our older kids, our 4th and 5th grade students, deal with a lot of behavioral, like with each other, relationship things, and like bullying and things like that. So we have plans to continue to work on those areas for next year. And we're going to talk about the physical health. Back to Ms. McLean.
Thanks. So as we spoke of before, the extracurricular clubs that we were able to put in place at Glendale, we wanted to address physical health as well, because our need was that there was a lack of physical activities for students, especially boys. Parents were expressing that sports activities are very expensive to enroll in. So they were not able to get their students into a lot of physical activity. And we've had Girls on the Run at Glendale. And that has been pretty much the one consistent club that has been around. And but there was nothing for the boys. So some of our teachers and even a TSA and a TA all got together and they created a boys running club at Glendale. We ran 2 sessions, and they ran it very similar to Girls on the Run, where they get a little lesson on character traits in the beginning of the day, and then they go do their training and run. And they ran 2 sessions, so we had a total of 37 boys that participated in that. And then we had, of course, Girls on the Run, which had 42 girls participate in that. So we were really excited about that. For our students. We also partnered with St. Philip Neri. Another need we had was access to food for lower income families. And so we have the backpack program. St. Philip Neri is approved through the AAC Food Bank. And they sponsored 30 families with weekend food bags. And so that was exciting as well. And then 30 families were also given the opportunity to have supplies for dinner and participated in the virtual cooking class with Marilyn Snappet. And then the third physical health need we had was dental health. Learn an actual sport and the rules of that sport, since it's very expensive to enroll in county sports, and maybe have a contractor come in for that. Continue our partnership with St. Philip, to explore ways to get the families, and we're going to explore ways to get the families more access to fresh produce in these areas. And we're going to continue the sealant program, but we want to add on some education to families on dental health because our needs just showed that parents were not very aware about dental health in general and the importance of it.
Yeah, so thank you. And that's all.
I think that's it for Glendale. We're very excited. We have a lot of celebrating that we've been doing this year.
Yay, Glendale. Just some awesome work. Want to thank both of you for sharing that with us.